Good evening, fellow searchers. Welcome to the Quiet Hour, where we stop digging new holes and go deeper instead. If you're new, subscribe and dig with us. Tonight, I want to tell you about Sarah Chen, 41 years old, and the moment she realized she'd been digging shallow holes for 2 decades instead of one deep well. Sarah had tried everything. Photography business at 23, real estate license at 25, life coaching certification at 28, graphic design freelancing at 30, podcast production at 32, social media consulting at 34, essential oils, meal prep service, virtual assistant work, dropshipping. Each one started with excitement and ended with "this isn't working" after 6 months, maybe a year. Her resume was a graveyard of abandoned dreams. Her garage was full of equipment from businesses she'd quit. Her bank account showed the cost of constantly starting over: courses, certifications, inventory, website domains that auto-renewed for ventures she'd forgotten about. At 41, working a retail job she hated, Sarah sat in her therapist's office and said what she'd been thinking for years. I think I am just not meant for success. I've tried everything. Nothing works for me. Her therapist, Dr. Morrison, was quiet for a moment. Then she asked, "How long did you give photography?" "About 8 months. But I wasn't getting clients fast enough." "Real estate?" 10 months. The market was tough. Life coaching, a year. But I couldn't get enough coaching. Hours for the advanced certification. Dr. Morrison pulled out a piece of paper and started drawing. Imagine you're looking for water in the desert. You start digging here. She marked an X. After a few feet, no water. So you move over here and dig again. Another X. Still no water. So here, another X. And here, the page filled with X's. Now imagine someone else digs in one spot. 3 feet, 5 feet, 10 feet, 20 feet. Who finds water? Sarah stared at the paper covered in shallow marks. But what if I was digging in the wrong spot? Were you? Or did you just not dig deep enough? That question haunted Sarah for weeks. She thought about her photography business. She'd been getting better. Her last few shoots had been her best work. But she quit right when she was starting to improve because the money wasn't coming fast enough. Real estate? She quit right before licensing her first sale, frustrated by the learning curve. Life coaching? She'd given up when getting certified felt hard, not realizing that the struggle was part of becoming qualified. Sarah had spent 20 years digging holes 3 feet deep and moving on when she didn't immediately hit water. Meanwhile, people less talented than her had succeeded simply because they kept digging in the same spot. She thought about Maria, her old photography classmate who'd stuck with it. Maria wasn't more talented. She just hadn't quit. Now she had a thriving wedding photography business. Or James from her real estate class, he'd struggled to, but he'd stayed. Now he was a top agent. The pattern was everywhere once Sarah saw it. The people who succeeded weren't necessarily the most gifted. They were just the ones who dug deep enough to find water. Sarah made a decision that changed everything. She looked at all her abandoned ventures and asked, which one did I love most? Which one did I quit right when it was getting hard? Which usually means right before breakthrough. Photography? She'd loved photography. She'd quit right when she was getting good. So she started again. But this time with one rule: no matter what, she'd give it 3 years. 3 full years of digging in one spot before she'd even consider moving. The first 6 months were brutal. The same doubts came back. The same impatience. The voice that said try something else screamed loudly. But she kept shooting, kept learning, kept showing up. At month 8, she got her first paying client in years. Small job. Wedding efficient. Website photos. At month 14, a bride saw her work and booked her for a wedding. At month 22, that wedding led to 3 more bookings. At year 3, Sarah had a waiting list. She'd quit her retail job. She was making more than she'd ever made, doing work she loved. But the most profound moment came when she drove past her old neighborhood and saw all those abandoned business signs in garages. All those people who'd started strong and quit when it got hard. All those shallow holes they dug, just like her. She understood finally. Water was there all along. She just kept moving before she reached it. Friends, how many holes have you dug? How many things have you started, gotten excited about, then abandoned when the initial enthusiasm wore off and the real work began? How many times have you said this isn't working when what you really meant was this is hard and I am impatient? Success isn't about being in the right spot. It's about digging deep enough in whatever spot you choose. The most talented person who quits at 5 feet loses to the average person who digs to 20. That's our truth tonight at the Quiet Hour. Pick your spot, then dig. You just have to go deep enough to reach it. What hole have you been digging? How deep will you go? Comment below. Subscribe as we keep digging together. Until tomorrow, remember, you don't need a new spot. You need a deeper hole. Stop moving. Start digging. Sleep. Well, drive safely and tomorrow, go 1 foot deeper. Good night, friends.